So I'm going to be taking a look at this piece today because a number of things of it are bothering me. A couple of announcements. We did a contest recently. It was amazing. The turnout was wonderful and the quality was unbelievable. And if you haven't caught that, please go to YouTube, go to my channel. You're already on my channel. Go to the recent challenge, the Ancient Weapon Design Challenge, and have a look at all those wonderful submissions. I hope you guys applied the corrections that I encouraged you to. So 2 big winners are going to be announced within the week. One of them is going to be the poll winner. That will go up ASAP. Like I said, I've been so busy with preparing for everything. I was on call back and forth with hospitals for a while now, and my brain's pretty much been focused only on that. So it's been hard for me to decide and not rush the decision on who the 5 contenders are for the community poll. There will only be 5. And who the judge winner will be that wins the sessions with me. So I wanted to take my time in deciding on those 2, but the community will obviously decide on the final winner for the community poll, which will have possibly private sessions with me, as well as a number of other gifties. The next challenge, I don't know when that's going to be. I don't know what the topic is going to be, but I have a feeling it's going to be something similar to like another repeat of our challenges from the past, which is floral humanoids. Yeah. Do you guys remember floral humanoids? Really, really fun. But it's going to be, and even though it did look very alien, it might be alien planet floral environment with the floral humanoid interacting in it. So alien environment or alien garden or alien planet garden. I've been watching my friend play Outer Wilds, which is, holy God, what a fucking game that is. Oh my God, king of games, crowned king of games, that one. Holy crap, if you haven't played it, please play it. Let the fear consume you of exploring the dark unknown, because it is addicting. Holy God. Yeah, so that kind of inspired me to just think about alien planets a little bit, even though each planet is kind of like falling apart. It's like post-apocalyptic for every single planet. It's still freaking amazing and inspiring. And what the hell is that game? Holy God. Genius has put that game together. So that might be the next one, just so that you guys get an idea of what's coming. So it'll be Alien Planet Garden with a floral humanoid alien creature in the illustration tending to their garden, which is all alien. Right? So I don't want to see no daisies, okay? I want to see something else. I don't want to see no roses, if you know what I mean. All right? So no basic bitch flowers. I want to see something interesting. I want to see something unique. I want you to look into weird succulents and weird cacti and weird plants across this globe and combining them together. But again, I haven't pulled the trigger on that. I might just do another super basic challenge. I don't know. That's a bit ambitious because a lot of you weren't doing very well with your light environments, your depth. But again, I have videos on all of that already, so it might just be a good thing for me to challenge you guys with a full illustration, but we'll see. Okay, so a couple of issues wrong with this one. We've got a really innocent set of eyes. We've got a puckery Instagram model mouth. The hair is bothering me because it's just super neat and perfect, and that's fine. That's possible. Some people have good hair. And then her deltoids are gigantic for a woman. And then she looks like she's in military. It looks like a portrait, kind of like a Space Force type thing. Definitely has a feeling of science fiction on it. So we need to match what's happening here with this female warrior, female soldier, with what's happening here. 0 personality. If you could point a personality gun to measure how much personality is happening on this character, it's 0. Why is personality happening at 0 at the moment? Why is personality so low? Well, the eyebrows are perfectly symmetrical. The head tilt is perfectly level with the camera. The nose and the eyes and the mouth and the general beauty seems to not match. I mean, you can be beautiful and be a soldier, but there's a certain ruggedness to a character after they've been through years of war. So you want to reflect that in your character design. Um, the lipstick and the makeup. So you've got some pretty, you know, some, like, it's very glamorous. It's a type of smoky eye kind of setup here that's very pretty. And the face doesn't seem to match the size in the body. Down here, the head seems to be very, very small. So I want to match all of that up. At what point did I turn the music on? Because there... Oh, the freaking tablet. Oh, okay. The tablet, when I pressed it off, happened on the opposite screen. All right. So I'm going to do a number of things. I might change the whole thing. It might not be completely very different from the before, because at this point, nothing is happening. The reason why we want things to happen on personality, so it's like 0 personality right now. The reason why we want personality, the reason why we want to see that is because we want to believe this is a character that exists somewhere. There's a certain amount of immersiveness and escapism when it comes to art. And if I'm just looking at a basic Instagram face, and you're trying to convince me she's, you know, occupying this certain job and she has this personality, I'm not going to believe you unless you believe it yourself. And if you believed it as the artist, you would not have given her a face like that. I don't care if it's pretty. I don't care if you did it right. I don't care if the either side is symmetrical. That's not the point. When you enter illustration mode, you enter a whole new way of thinking. You become a psychiatrist. You become her psychiatrist. You understand her inner workings. You become her, period. You have to become an empath, meaning you have to feel what she's feeling. You have to understand it. You have to be an actor. You have to be a writer. You have to understand what her plight is, what's her struggle. You have to know what kind of tropes and characters are at place, and what kind, like the plot is the string, and the characters are the jewels on that string, the pearls on that string. So what kind of characters can we dress up or adorn our story with? There's the hero, there's the protagonist, there's the good character, there's the chaotic good, there's the chaotic evil, there's the misunderstood antichrist, misunderstood anti-hero. There's so many different ways to make this character mean more, and that's why it's hard for me to change so much, because I have to make a decision. I have to choose which of these characters we're going to be looking at in the after. So I'm going to decide on a... I mean, honestly, I like villains. I really like villains, so I might make her, like, kind of tilt her head down, be a little cocky, but also the good guy. The long black hair kind of makes it seem like it's hard to see her as a protagonist. She should have some kind of hairstyle that's nice and out of the way, just because of what I've seen in other characters and other shows. So I would put her hair out of the way if she wasn't a main character. For some reason, side characters always have open, long hair. So she doesn't seem like she's the main character at the moment. That's fine. Main characters are boring as oh god, don't even talk to me about main characters. I like the villains, I like the side characters, I like the supporting characters. Those are always freehand. They just do whatever, they can say whatever, and no one punishes them for it because they don't have to be Jesus. So I'm going to make her a little cocky. I'm going to make her face match her head a little bit, and we'll go from there. All right. So I'm going to lengthen her face a touch. I'm going to get rid of those innocent babe in a meadow mouth, puckered size of the mouth, that whole, like, full lip look. So I'm just going to make her upper lip a little bit more mature. I'm going to get rid of that Christmas elf redness in her nose. It's different if the character's wearing a big coat and there's a bunch of snow flying around and that's why their nose is red. But to just put so much red on the nose just for the sake of realism or color zones, I wouldn't put that much. She's not drunk. She's not a drunk Englishman in the middle of January. Alright, so I'm going to get rid of that. Tilting her head is going to be a little tricky. Alright. I'm going to shrink her eyes. Again, we're just matching the size of her head to her body. That hairline is just a bit masculine. That, again, that's a tip on how to create long hair for men and have it read as men and not a girly looking or manly looking girl. Is to just raise the hairline. Men's hairline is way higher. Even just these changes, how does she read to you now? She reads as a stern captain or general. She reads as a stern. She matches her job. She matches what's being reflected here. This armor suit that she's wearing. All right. But I want a little more than that. I want to really show you how far to push it. Maybe I'll do the stern basic look and go from there. She has a cute face, and in the military, you're a pretty girl in the military. Suddenly being in the military is much harder. We've all heard the stories. So she must have gone through a lot of stuff, and that's what I mean by saying be her psychiatrist. So she must have been, you know, me alone, I'm not in the military, and people judge me by my face before they get to know me. So they assume I'm just like a babe in the woods, you know. Sometimes they don't know I kick ass on a live stream. But that's probably what's happened to her on a much larger scale. The army, with a bunch of men whose strength is granted to them. They see it for granted, but for women, strength is not a given. Strength is not granted, so they don't expect it. And so she must have had to work harder than her superiors even, just to be taken seriously. And so that should be reflected in the way you design the character, the expression that she doesn't even know she does anymore. She just does it by default. That's her default expression. She doesn't even know she looks stern. She had to be for so long. All right, I'm widening her mouth a little bit just to get rid of that. And sometimes people have little quirks, like their mouth is not really smiling, but one corner is slightly higher than the other. Gonna make the eyes not feel so spaced out and not feel so focused. So that alone has done a lot for the character. You can just take a look at the before and judge for yourself. Do you see what I mean by Instagram filter face? Do you see what I mean by baby face? See what I mean by adding a jawline to her so she matches? And a woman, and you see how like it does not match her muscles at all. At all. Not even by any stretch of the imagination. Not in my imagination, it's not possible. So I brought her muscles down a touch as well, just to round everything off. Trust me, she still reads as strong. Trust me, I don't need to give her male deltoids just for us to read a strength in a female. Trust me, a woman doesn't have to dress like a man to be strong or have masculine muscles or anything like that. It's just a question of biology. Is it logical? Is it easy to find a woman with deltoids as big as my butt? No, it's not easy. I can find another scale. So now I want to make her cocky. I want to make her a little bit more completely different character. Completely different, 100% different. So let's go for it. Oh, before I do that, I have to take the whole face and tuck it down. Boop, 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 boop. All right. And now I'm going to change the perspective on almost every feature. Don't take it as face value, just give me a minute. All right, and jaw, something. All right, so I want to make a character that's a little bit more cocky. Slightly up to something because they're in the shadow, so I'm just doing what I would do. I'm gonna select the whole thing and push it down, and that means the hairline is lower and so we see more of the head. Not so much sexy, like I'm not trying to do that. I'm just trying to make it look like she's up to something. I might go backward and just make it a bit more towards the other end of the emotion spectrum, but we'll see. Just the character in the shadows is a lot more telling kind of for what's happening in the expression. All right, so we did a complete head motion downward, so before, after, and then I'm going to take the whole head, bring it closer to the neckline, because the head is being tilted down. Okay, onward. And then what's going to happen here is the shadow. So what you did was that no, that's not how it works. You don't connect the shadow on the head and it starts right where it left off on the wall. No, the wall is a completely different surface, so it should be higher or lower. It just depends on what's happening with the light source. So usually the head is a little bit higher because it's more out. So it meets the shadow first. So really it just depends on what's meeting the shadow first. And then for some reason it just goes that way. Just make it go all the way down. Excuse me. All right, and that means that over here, things should be a little bit more dark. And then you see how like dark you have some of this stuff. You still got shine. You don't have a light zone at all. You just got this big splotch you were too scared to bring down to the face. This splotch isn't really but whatever you had here up here. It just showed that you really are one of those, like in the early stages where, oh, like I just hope I draw a pretty face. Like that's all I hope for. If I can draw a pretty face, I'm good. I can do whatever else. I can draw whatever else I want. No, it's not all. As you can see, a lot more goes into it than just a pretty face. So you're at that pretty face stage where every face you draw has to be perfectly glamorous. You haven't been drawing long enough that you understand that a pretty face is all boring and nothing really happens in it. So I'm just trying to get rid of some of this, just so we have some shadow. And then what we need to do is pick where the light is going to be. So color dodge. And I'll figure out what's happening in the back. And like I said before, like you can decide which one meets the shadow first. I'm not comfortable with it being above the eye. Again, I'm not one that grooms like pretty faces. I try to make the face ugly, for lack of a better term. I try to make it a little bit more interesting. So I probably should have used black on darken, or like a dark blue on darken, just so I don't lose some detail. Because you see, when we use darken, we kind of lose a lot of detail. So let me go back to before that. Alright, so I don't want to lose detail. So what I'm going to do, oops, is just merge down, get a whole new layer for the eye situation. Because I still want some of that detail visible. It's such a tricky little thing right now. I can't seem to figure it out. Alright, that's fine. I'll figure it out after. Smudge out the eyebrows. And then another thing that you did was that you brought in this shadow, but there's no gradient outside of that shadow. So what needs to happen here is we need to apply that gradient. Which will help make it read as a bit more of a dangerous character. And because there's light directly behind the character, that signals for a slight silhouette. So let me give you a quick sample of what that will look like with the glare coming from the concrete directly behind her. So it's a nice composition. It's a nice light. But before I do that, I'm just going to figure out the rest. So even if she is a character that is proud, is not so mischievous, we still need to correct the lighting that you did. So from a distance, I'm also going to, and this is another example of how I know for sure you're at pretty face mode, because the light on the face is top down, but the universal light is, I mean, honestly, you don't really have a universal light, is coming from the side. So that's not a good thing. And even if a character has blue eyes, it doesn't mean every blue eye you draw has to be this, it still looks very Instagram-y, has to be very blue. So before I did all that, and then now I'm just going to sharpen. And then just try to get out some stronger lines. Alright, and then I'm just gonna start rendering the face. So very simple changes. And even if we get rid of the smile, so I said earlier, I might bring it back to that stern. The eyebrows still work. You see? She still looks like a stern character, and with this, she still looks stern. With this, she looks much more stern. The double eyebrow that Winston Churchill face looks very, very stern. And then very proud as well, but stern without pride. Like, I've done things you can't even imagine. Like that, I'd say. And like completely emotionless is also a good trait, but you can put some of those little quirks that come out in the asymmetrical mouth. But a downward tilt means that there's deep thought. An upward tilt in the face, that means there's a lot of pride. So I don't want to just spoil the face with too much pride. And I think an asymmetrical eyebrow will go a long way for a military face, because it's going to be stern nonetheless, no matter what choice we make. I want to do a mischievous face, but I also don't want the before and after to be too different. I just want to kind of honor what the artist was doing. All right. So before, this looks fine for as an expression, and then just the first befores, just too pretty. All right. So let's keep going forward. Too Barbie doll, you know, like too just not working. Too not working. Right. I just want to use my layers to my advantage. Okay. Dramatic lighting is definitely helping the character feel a little bit more like they're part of a narrative that's bigger than them. That's not pointing in the right direction. As for the hairstyle, I really don't like when you have cascading hair down like that. And for a girl, again, who's had a lot of trouble finding respect in the military, and this is just based off what I've decided the story is, I feel like bringing your hair down is just gonna reverse a lot of what you've worked on. Maybe she brings her hair down in front of her friends or other women or people she can trust, or on rare occasions. I'm not saying she has no confidence. I'm saying that in this in outer space, trapped on a spaceship with a bunch of other men. The last thing you want to do is look like a Victoria's Secret model. Take it from me, like I would never ever ever let my hair down at the gym. Like there's just so much negative attention already my way just because my hair isn't up in a bun. It just feels like the weirdest thing for me to bring my hair down in front of pigs already just like on the edge, right? And stuff has happened to me at the gym, like, oh shit, like people harassing me at the gym and shit like that. So I'm putting myself in her shoes. I'm using my own experiences to kind of mirror hers. I'm not gonna put her hair up, but I'm gonna do stuff with it to make it reflect her personality. So before it was just a bit too, it was just a bit too, hey, look at me. I want it to look like, you know, a hairstyle that would match her character. So a little more straight, a little bit more sleek, and a little less volume. Something that reads a bit more as my hair is just temporarily down before I put my helmet on. And I was just caught in this photo op. I want to make her a little bit uglier. That's going to happen by bringing her eyes closer together and getting rid of the size in her pupils. Let me show you why ugly is better. And by ugly, I'm just referring to what happens when we just get rid of the excessive beauty triangle. Because that shit's just, it can get annoying. Excessive beauty in characters is not always the best thing. You know, not every character is supposed to have you ever just wondered? Have you wondered yet? Are you at that level? And by the way, it isn't just skill that makes it so that you're a professional or moving towards professional. It's maturity. So have you ever wondered at the, you know, am I supposed to draw every character beautiful and cute? Like, is that all I was born to do? Is that my role in life? Is that what I'm supposed to be doing? Have you ever asked yourself that question yet? Have you asked yourself that question yet? The ears are kind of in the wrong spot. So before, a little lower. After, the face is starting to read as a little bit longer. I'm kind of canceling out little by little that downturn, but it's definitely way more downturn than it was before. If you have come up to the point where you've asked yourself that question, congratulations, you're maturing. Alright, so I'm just letting some of that come down. The ears shouldn't be that bright since they're kind of blanketed in. Can you guys hear me and see me? I'm gonna make this a little bit more, you can see how she's starting to look a little bit more like a man. And that's because men have a downturn in their nose. And a wider mouth. And that's what I wanted. I want her to have a bit more of masculine beauty. I want to get rid of that excessive redness in the lips. Just so it's a little less, more of a natural red than a, you know, lipstick red. We can still make her read as feminine by strengthening the arc under the eyebrow. Oops. Yep. So not every character is supposed to be cute. Right. And you want believable human. Trust me, of all the times in a character where you want believable human is in soldiers. Any kind of soldier, you want them to feel like something that can be, because if anybody deserves a right to be, you know, made to feel like a human being, it's a soldier. Just because of like what they endure, what they go through, they're on the edge of survival. And so when you have a character who's in constant struggle and you draw them with this silly little face, it just shows that you may have recently graduated into higher skill set with portraits, but you're still immature. All right, so maturity in skill and maturity in, you know, as a creator is a very different set of skills. So there's other things we can do to make her a little more pretty. I'm going to get rid of some of that eyeshadow and give her more of like a nude upper eyelid. And a common factor, I would say, in the trope for a soldier, I would say, is not having bedroom eyes. Bedroom eyes are what I would give to an Aphrodite character, meaning that the eye socket is very far from the eyelid. And so an Aphrodite character, super pretty, relaxed, chilling on Mount Olympus, eyes half open because, whoa, she's taking her third nap for the day. You know, that's what I mean by bedroom eyes. I don't mean like, come here, baby. Like, that's not what I'm talking about. All right, so I want to do that two ways. I want to lower the upper eyelid, the crease line, and open the eyes a bit more. And then to make her a little less beautiful, I can tilt that lower eyelid, that lower corner, outer corner down a touch. She's gonna look like somebody you know. Whereas before, it looks like a drawing, you know. You know what I mean? If she was recently in a bar fight, you might make one eye a little bit more swollen than the other. I'm joking. All right, so I'm lowering the other eye socket. So that's the answer. That's to answer your question on how do I make my characters look less like pretty sorority girls, right? By just lowering the eye socket line so the character feels a little bit more unreliant of their beauty in their life, that they had to rely on their strength, hence the ginormous deltoids, which are gigantic. All right, so we can keep the lower lip fuller. A female mouth is much fuller, but what you had before was just filler, if you know what I mean. All right, as for the nose, you can keep it cute. I'd say a stronger bridge shows a bit more of a person who's been through a lot, maybe been punched a couple times. So why should she, just because she's a woman, be denied of the usual soldier's experience, which is fighting, kicking, punching, getting kicked, getting punched? You know, so it's not something we can say is not allowed for a female character, and for some reason her face was perfectly intact in the 30 years she's served in SpaceX. So a more light on one side, and then I'm just raising the shadow to be between the eyebrows. If you want to get rid of that smile, I'm just going to nix that smile for the villain. And you want to make one side more confident. You can leave the smile on one side, so just take a look. So before, there's a bit of a smile. After, it's all gone on one side. The other side still has it, which means the expression is a little different, but now both sides don't have it. And I'm going to get rid of any perkiness. We reveal a lot with muscles we don't know we're using when we're neutral. Any emotion we try to hide is not really hidden. It takes a lot of practice to really hide emotion. And then to give her a bit more, so if you like the smile, keep it, but I'm just going to explore many expressions, not just one, since this seems to be an expression class, is to lower the eyebrows, lower than they would be on an average, on your average portrait. Why? Because low eyebrows is one of those emotions that's hard to hide. So here she's kind of ready for the photo. Here she's just part of a group of people maybe talking, and the camera managed to pan to her somehow. And yeah, it's a different emotion. it's a different kind of character, which I like to see. I like to see that a character who's supposed to be a soldier, who's seen atrocities across planets, seen all kinds of things. I mean, if this is fan art, I don't even know what it's about. But yeah, it seems like it's in the realm of Mandalorian. So a little bit more shadow on the lower eyebrow, just because there's less light on that side. Constantly checking my navigator to see if there's any like silly little patches anywhere. Okay, so face shape. I've talked a lot about cheekbones on strong female characters. They are good. They're good to have. Cheekbones are not just for pretty Aphrodite characters. In fact, the circular face, the more baby-like face, is more Aphrodite than the big cheekbones, believe it or not. Cheekbones looks like an Amazonian princess. It looks like a strong character. Big cheekbones, big Frazetta cheekbones. You ever wondered why the Frazetta girls look strong, even though they're all damsels in distress? Whenever that misogynist painted anything, I love him, but goddamn. So like it's because of those big cheekbones. So I'm not trying to give her big old cheekbones, but I also don't want her to have a baby face or anything comparable. You can do different types of cheekbones. You can do cheekbones that circle back, just like that. You can do cheekbones that go all the way down. You can do sunken in cheekbones. And you can do cheekbones that really come out and catch the light. There's different types. If you think you've experienced science fiction, you're wrong. You haven't experienced science fiction till you've played Outer Wilds. I don't care how much of a fan you've been of Star Wars for how long. I don't really care if your mom and dad were into Star Wars. Trust me, science fiction is you've just touched the tip of the iceberg. I've rarely like promote games, even though you guys have seen League of Legends on my desktop like for years now. But holy God, man. Oh my lord. Outer Wilds is unbelievable. It's everything it's promised. Alright, so I'm going to bring in some stern lines. And you can do this with a big, thick brush, not a thin brush. You don't have to use a thin brush to show a wrinkle. You can just do something very simple on one side. However, one side is in shadow, one side is in light. So it means one of the eyebrows is going to be dark. One of the eyebrow wrinkles is going to be dark, and one is going to be light. Because one is facing the light, one is facing the shadow. So only one really gets a cast shadow. Alright, other things. She's been hit, she's been punched. Give her a scar, give her 2, give her 7. Alright, so you can just show those basic, you know, scars from like that we've always seen. Like, I don't like this scar because I've seen so many fuckboys with fake scars on their eyebrow that they just razor at the barber. So I want to make it look like it's like different. It's actually looks like she's been punched there. So one of these scars is actually pretty cool. It's not cliche, it's not corny. It's just a very, very modest scar that says a lot about how she's been treated. All right. So Little Miss eyeshadow palette from MAC. Little Miss Maybelline here needs to get some of her makeup remotes, so I'm going to use light and layer and just get rid of the lower eyelid makeup. Just at least that, because that's a big giveaway. Upper eyelash is full. It's full of hair, fine. That's a given, you know? But I'm just going to give her a little bit more of a natural shadow under her lower eyelid. But I'm going to let some of that shadow sit a little bit lower too, because she has known sleepless nights. She has known worry. She's probably been, again, suffering. This is not an easy job. This is a job that ages you. So I'm going to give her a little bit more dark circles underneath. Abu and my closest friends were probably all saying, "You're projecting, Istebrak. You're still projecting." All right, so those dark circles, you see, they don't damage her beauty. I'm going to, you know how when a mouth looks muscular, do you know what I mean? I'm going to let that kind of happen here. So the upper lip just gets a bit, and then there's this area around here gets a bit more, just so she looks like she's been lifting for a very long time. She doesn't have deltoid implants. And I really do want to get rid of some of that, excuse me, some of that makeup. I'm going to bring in some shine now, as if she's sweaty. She just, you know, got out of the plane, the ship. So there's a bit of sweat, and that's just getting caught in the ridges of every elevation. A little bit here, a little more on the nose, the side of the nose. Now, there's a question in your head at the moment, which is, how did I come to know all of this stuff about expressions and people and you know, characters and whatever? I watch TV just like you. So why is it that when you're watching television, you're not recording this information? Because don't you remember the last time a character jumped out of a cockpit and stood on a, you know, a landing pad and was having a serious conversation? And production quality is only getting better and better, you know, with time. So characters are a little bit more believable. Situations are more believable. And we start to feel like we are actually there with these characters experiencing these things. So watch a little closely and you'll be able to pick up everything I have, and probably more. Like I see that I'm aging in such a way where people know more than me just by being young. They just have more capacity to learn about what's new and what's out there. I don't watch everything that comes out anymore. I'm not at the age where everything is entertaining, you know, anymore. So you're at the age where things are corny. Shit is still not yet corny to you. For me, all that new stuff is corny. Even Mandalorian was hard to sit through at some points. So it's just because, you know, sometimes at one point or another, you're just too old to listen to the same joke 700 times. Or the same silly little back and forth between characters. Not a lot impresses you, not a lot makes you laugh. So you guys are actually exposed to way better productions than I was when I was growing up. Way better jokes, or not as good jokes, actually. Let me take that back. But better music, better, maybe not that actually. Back then, music was way better. Better graphics, all right? So maybe the costume designers understand characters need to not have so much makeup and need to be a little bit more rugged and fucked up looking. I hate characters with perfect hair and makeup. It makes me so angry, makes my blood boil. I don't want to age her too much, but I also don't want her to look like a happy 30. I want her to look like I can't wait to retire and start my farm in Missouri. So a little more sweat. And if you feel like it, get one of those big old brushes that I have. Get some black, darken layer. Give this girl some soot. She just jumped out of a plane, you know. I don't know why the plane was smoking, but something happened. And I don't know. Tar? I don't know. Camouflage. The hair should be a little more messy, to be honest, but you could do something with all that stuff. All right. So filter, blur, Gaussian blur, all the way down. Makes me realize how far I have to go with human faces. It's not that far, as long as you understand that you could do some more research. You could answer all these questions ahead of time, and just, you know, move in that direction. So because it's tricky to manage detail without interrupting the focal point, start off blurred and delete away at what you want to keep. So do the detail in the deletion, not in the micro detail, meaning the edge of the soot on her face can be sharp, but no miniature little clusters that can throw off the focal point that much. So things can get smudged out. You can keep this. I might not keep it because I can't do things with the hair that make this look more better. Meaning like I have to tie her hair back. I might tie it on one side just to help us a little bit. Maybe she quickly untied her hair so that Mando can fall in love with her. I don't know, a side ponytail is super flirty, so she actually looks stronger with her hair down. I don't know how to catch it up. I would have to just, you know, do the military haircut, which is just flat hair in a bun behind her, so she actually looks like she's in the military. But if it's a moment where she just let her hair down right after a fight, that's cool too if you want to keep the soot. I want to keep it because it really helps. Like, look at it. Without it, we just don't get the same effect. It doesn't feel like, damn, you know, like it explains her expression. All right. I'm going to use slightly lighter value for the eyebrow scar, just so it's traveling a little bit higher. So you don't have a long way to go if you're willing to put in some research. Who is this character? Why should the viewer give a shit about them? What's going on with them? Where are they? They're in the landing pad of a military base. Okay, why are they in the military? Because they're a soldier. Okay, where did they come from? Why are we seeing them in this moment? They just landed off, you know, after a really, really crazy mission. Okay, but this is the before. So why do they look like they're taking a picture for Instagram? Why don't they look like they just landed on the, you know, on the landing strip after a terrible mission? Do you see what I'm saying? Do you understand? All right, so I'm just gonna fix some of this here. And you see that high trapezius muscle just over here? That's really, really good, and women can build that muscle better. Women can get this muscle easier than they can make one of these just gigantic, all right? It just does not look as natural because women they don't build muscle that way. Our lower body is bigger than our upper body. Our ass will get big before our deltoids explode like that without hormone therapy. All right. All right, so let me finish up. We can bring in some very basic bounce light, white light. Just if you don't know what color, please don't choose a purple or a green or something like that. Just choose a basic ambient white. Will do more. Again, as you've noticed, be mature. You know, be mature about your choices. It's okay to want to have fun and be young and draw the pretty character with the orange hair and a different earring on both ears and a cat tail and banana ears. I don't know what the fuck banana ears is. It's okay. We were all young once drawing ridiculous things. But yeah, but it's okay to be mature too. It's okay to be older than you. I've met a lot of students, some in the Discord community with us, who are just wise beyond their years, and there's nothing wrong with it. It's just a different type of painting. And there's no timer. You don't have to look like you're wise beyond your years either. All right, whoever told you you gotta is a ding dong. There's just different times for different things. And if you're gonna paint a character wearing military armor, or some kind of space suit, and they're you know, they look a certain way, and it's a female, and it's I'm not gonna be convinced that they're in the occupation that they are in. All right, so what you want to do is blur right after that, just because it's an ambient light, so it's not something we're using to render anything. It's not something we're depending on. We're just bringing it in just for the sake of bounce light. So I overblended. I oversmudged, I mean. Son of a bitch. All right, let me go backward. Filter. I want to use this, but this has failed me before in low res. Yep. Blur, Gaussian blur. Excuse me. I'm not even sure if I want to bring it from below because there's already light back there, so maybe just from the sides. Or on the dark side up here. Yeah, that looks a lot better. Keep it super light. Let some of those flyaways catch some. It's okay if they're not good brush strokes because it gets blurred. Again, I'm not sure how much. A little bit more. Even though her hair is sleekish, I want it to look like she just threw it back with her fingers. She didn't have a brush nearby. Now it looks like the filter came off and she looks, you know, her in all her glory. We get to see her in all her glory. Okay, so filter, blur, Gaussian blur. Okay. Just a bit of bounce light for the back. If there is some hair this way, I'm not comfortable with that. Definitely more this way to reflect where that light is coming from. And at this point, she's more in a silhouette, so her back is turned, her back is on a shadowed side. But if you really, really wanted it to be as if the light is directly on her face, you're gonna have to just do one of these. Cancel for that. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, you have to do one of these, which is very easy, as you can see. You just have to make sure you're not putting the skin in a hue that does not belong in, even if it was in that light situation. So I actually like when she's in more shadow, but if you wanted one of these, that's fine as well. I actually just like the shadowed one. It just looks a bit more dramatic. Let me see if there's a middle ground. Nah, it's middle ground doesn't do it sometimes. All right, a little bit of hair here. You should usually advise sketching forms until you're comfortable with going straight into blocking, but it's all about what works for you. So sketching can help one learn the forms, but once you know where they are, blocking in is better. The forms, so sketching the character first or sketching a form study first? Do you find it better to construct a face with a sketch? Yes. Or block it with big blobs of value. If you're not ready to block it, if you need to sketch it to know what you're drawing, you're not ready to block it. Do you know what I mean, Xantus? So if you're just really too unsure to start with blocking, it's most likely you need to start it with a sketch. If you could start it with a blocking, you would have. And you would have comfortably, and you wouldn't have asked that question. Do you know what I mean? You would have been comfortable with the situation. But if you're uncomfortable enough to even have to ask, just do a sketch. Even I sketch mine. There's no shame in sketching it first. There's no rule that says you can't. You just can't keep your lines, but that's it. All right, so for the suit, I mean, I like how her body's kind of asymmetrical, but for the suit, you might want to do something a little different. And the crop is also very weird. I'm not comfortable with the crop. And there's no reason why this has to be over there. It could be behind her, way lower. Like, it doesn't even need to be aligned, you know, it could be behind her. It actually makes things look more three-dimensional when it's not up there. Just because it's so let me lasso this first. It just makes things look a little bit less like there's a tangent there. Okay, So you know, you need to darken the hair a little bit more, but you see what I mean? How it makes it look like it's further behind her, because the separation between her line and the background is so big, it makes it feel like the wall is way back there. But if she was this close to the wall or much closer, and I feel like it's distracting. I feel like it's really cool when the shadow is directly behind her, like that. So I'm gonna go and try to fix what's happening with the hair. Unless I lassoed wrong. Alright. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm going to just do what I want. Alright. And then the next one. Don't try this at home. Go by Outer Wilds and play it. If you're not done your homework because you were playing Outer Wilds, you get a pass. If you came to my class and said, I did not finish homework, and I asked why, and you said, because I was playing Outer Wilds, I would be like, oh, okay, it's okay, sit down. If I was giving birth to your child and you were not there while I was giving birth to your child, please don't think of anything else outside of this what I'm saying right now. And you were like, and I'd be like, why weren't you there for the birth of a child? And you're like, I was playing Outer Wilds. I'd be like, oh, it's okay. It's okay. Here, meet your baby. Okay, that was too much. That was your grandmother. And I just died. And you were, what a weird life story I have. And you did not come to my funeral. And I came into your dreams and said, why, my grandson, didn't you come to my funeral? And you said, oh, I'm sorry, Granny, I was playing Outer Wilds. I'd be like, oh, it's okay, it's a great game, right? Okay, that's how much I recommend that game. I don't recommend games, dude. It just got me so shook sometimes. Like, sometimes I did not want to launch it ever again. Or like play it. But other times it just became addicting. It just became like, oh my lord, this is like, I am transported, literally and metaphorically. All right, so I put the shadow behind her a little bit, and no, I will not do game reviews. Don't even though, you know, the reviews I read sounds like the person who played it for 5 minutes, hated it, but still had to make a review because they were sponsored or something. Outer Wilds is great if you're an explorer. Excuse me, that's not all it is. Outer Wilds is great if you would like to be on another planet. Stupid. But really, it's just more than an exploration game. It is like a puzzle. It is if you're into like mystery and detective shit, like just puzzles, and not just any puzzles, like there's reading, a lot of reading, but like if you like books, you know, it's like if you feel like there's something missing, if you like Dune, oh man, like I don't even know where to start. Like it's like I'm just stumbling on like how amazing it is, how much it offers you. Putting things together, making deductions, detective work, like Lord. Great game. Great movie too. I'm joking, I wish they would make it into a movie. Alright, sorry, I'm just following my eye. I'm not sure why there even needs to be another motherfucking thing on the bottom, alright? I'm just gonna get rid of that. It's because it's awkward. Like, what's casting that type of shadow? Just let the light be. Alright. Okay, I think we're done. Let's take this into before and after. and move on with our lives. So, before, yes, I know. After. Still a very beautiful person. Still somebody you want to have babies with, but not an Aphrodite, not the goddess of having babies, but still somebody very beautiful. She still does all of the things that the other beautiful girl would do, which is, oh wow, look, that's pretty. But she still has her job. She still has her dignity. All right, and then the head size, way too small. The lips, way too plump. It does not match. And I'm not saying girls with thick lips are denied from the military, okay? So don't even fucking say that to me right now. All right. Okay, so before, after. I like the head motion down. I was gonna make her into a villain, but it would have been too different. It wouldn't have made the point. The villain smile would have been in the way, but let's just see what happens if we were to just sneak it in really quickly. I mean, she still looks like a smiling, stern character. She doesn't seem like the protagonist. She seems like the bodyguard of the antagonist who was trying to kill all the Avatar, who changes her, you know, her path later on. I think there's an actual character like that in Avatar. Oh yeah, and Outer Wilds is everything Avatar wanted to be. All right, don't even. No, that's not villain enough. That's too simplistic. She looks like a Samira now, with that stern and cocky expression. Yeah. All right, thank you everyone for watching today. I really appreciate those who come out to the live streams. To submit your work for Critique Hour, if you want your work critiqued, as this was today. And I thank you for posting this. I know I ripped it to shreds. I'm sorry. Everything was changed, but I thank you. You look at the education opportunity that you just provided with everyone. I really appreciate you submitting your stuff, because I'd just be up here talking my ass off if it wasn't for you guys submitting your stuff. So thank you so much for that. So Istebrak.com, Reddit icon. The poll will be up here soon, as well as the announcement for the judge winner. As well as the announcement for the next community challenge. And then if you learned something today and you want to give back, you can join me on Patreon as well. If you just want to join as a $1, or if you want educational material in exchange, you can join as an apprentice and join us on Discord for monthly assignments. I just finished uploading the Critique Hour for February's submissions. Really, really cool stuff handed in. And I would love to see more faces in the Discord so that there's more variety in the homework handed in. That'd be really cool. My goal is 1,000 patrons, even if it's just 1,000 $1 patrons. It's $12 a year, and it helps keep the community alive. I don't really work with sponsorships or marketing, or I'm not with an agent or anything like that. They'll just be telling me, oh, shrink your videos and talk more about Justin Bieber or some other stupid TikTok shit. And I just don't want to. I'm not there for that. I'm a professor, all right? I have dignity. And I want to stay that way. So give me $1. Anyway, let's close up shop. Thank you everyone for coming today. I'll see you guys on Tuesday, the 16th, hopefully at 5 p.m. Eastern time. If you don't see me again, it's because I'm pre-op madness. My surgery is on the 26th, so you might not see me after that either. Private tutoring might still be underway. If it is, that means that Critique Hour is, so most likely you'll see me much sooner than that. Thank you everyone for coming today. I'll see you guys next time. Bye guys.